Okay, we're getting ready to fret the instrument, and I'll just talk you through some of the tools that I'm going to use. We've got a rubber tipped hammer here, which is nice and soft on the frets so we don't damage them. We've got a fret tang nipper here. We've got a set of flush cut trimmers. We've got another small trimmer here. We've got a fret leveling file, a fret crowning file, and a fret dressing file. Now you don't need any of these to put frets in. I just have them, and they're the tools I'm going to use. Well, I've got a fret tang nipper for taking the edges off the frets here, but I've done it before using just a file, so it can be done. Any kind of cutters or trimmer will work. These just happen to be flush cut. They're extremely smooth on top here for getting right and close, but again, you don't need them. Any kind of trimmers work, or even if you just wanted to file them down or do anything like that, it is possible. But these are the tools I'm going to use. Okay, so the first thing we'll do is we'll just measure up our fret wire here. You can buy fret wire in coils in extended lengths. These are just some pieces of fret wire I happen to have lying around that I'm going to use, and they already have some of the tang removed here, so we'll use that as our edge, and we can just go as far as here, and we just hold it in our hand and know that's as much of the fret that we need. So we know this is the amount it's safe to remove, and just using your snips you cut that off, and so that will be our first piece of fret wire here. And again, just measure them all the way along and do the same until you have your 5 pieces of fret wire ready to go. Okay, so now you can see we've got 5 pieces of fret wire. I'll cut the length, and so what we're going to have to do now is take the tang off them, and I'll show you how we do that now. Okay, so we have our frets here, and you can just see one side has the tang slightly nipped off, but the other doesn't. So as I said, you can take off that with a file or any kind of snips you have. I happen to have a fret detanger here that I use, and it's just a quick couple of nips, and you can just see there that both sides now have the tang removed. So we'll just do that for the next couple as well. So all the frets will have the same amount of tang removed. So you can see here our frets have all had the edges of the tang removed, so that this bottom part here, the tang, will just sit into the slot, and then we can deal with what hangs over the side. So we're going to get ready now to put these frets in. Okay, so the way I like to put frets in is we take some wood glue and we just kind of fill the slot with it. Now the glue isn't to actually hold the frets in or anything like that. What the glue is going to do is, when it dries and expands, it will fill the gaps that may be left on the sides or underneath the fret. If the slot is slightly too large, it really won't hold them in, it'll just fill up the empty space that is there. So we line our fret up, and then again we take our rubber hammer, it's nice and soft, and we just send it home into the slot and just give the edges a little bit of a rounding, and then we just take a piece of cloth and wipe away any excess glue. It might even be an idea to slightly dampen the cloth you're using. It just helps clean up the slot. And so there's our first fret in. And we'll do the same to the next couple. Again, just a small bit of glue, just to fill the slot slightly. Take our piece of fret wire, and we roughly line it up. And again, take our soft hammer and just send it home into the slot. And because our fretboard is pretty much flat, we don't have to worry about things like radiuses and stuff like that, or having to put a radius onto the frets before we put them in, which just means putting a slight curve on them so they match the curve of the board. But this is a flat board, so it's not something we have to worry about. So I'll just finish off and do these last 3 now. And you can hear the lovely soundtrack we have in the background is the Irish weather. and that's the rain absolutely hammering down outside. It's proven slightly tricky to get lined up. Probably way too much glue there. Now, just take off some of this glue. See if that's seated properly. And just know it's gone in slightly askew. Just straighten it up. And again, if your frets did go slightly to either side like that, you can just kind of tap them to straighten them up and then straight down. Again, just use our slightly damp piece of tissue to just clean up any major lumps of glue. And now our last fret, just a smidgen of glue just to fill the slot. And we take our last fret and line it up, and again with our rubber hammer we're just going in and just giving a slight touch at the edge. Again, just get off that extra little bit of glue. Just take your tissue, just dampen it slightly, and we'll get rid of what's left of the glue. And so we'll give this a little bit of time to let the glue kind of set up and harden ever so slightly, and we'll come back to it then.